What is good, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to another edition of TNAIW Reaction, right here on the TNAIW channel. My name is Geoff, and I want to thank you for pressing play, hitting like, and subscribe. It's me manifesting into the universe. But most importantly, for just sitting back and watching, letting me shoot the shit. You guys sometimes shooting the shit back. I thank you. We'll hit up comments later. But just indulging me in the talk of Impact Wrestling, letting me talk nonsense, and then generally liking it for the most part. For the most part, we'll try not to say something too stupid, so we don't Io don't clip us. Shout out to Io, who's killing it on Twitter. Shout out to the guys and gals on the LOL. No, we were the guys. Speaking of LOL TNA, no, the guys and gals on Go Power Rankings with Lucha, Datala, and Bert every Tuesday, 7 p.m. And Rewind us on LOL TNA, Lucha, myself, and Johnny. We just hit up Hogan era, high five, obviously. The 5 things we like about the Hogan era. See if you agree with us. Even if green medicine, I said, isn't your thing, go check it out. Laugh at our stupidity. See if you agree with us. And then this coming week is episode 2. We're doing the flip of that. We're doing Butterfly Effect. What would we take away? What would we delete from the Hogan era, the top 5, high 5. Check it out. Some fun ones to come. But I want to thank you guys. I appreciate you once again indulging me, giving me a platform to talk Impact Wrestling. So we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about Impact on Access TV review. Then we're going to talk the ratings as far as what I thought of the show, because it matters. And then what the Nielsen ratings said. We'll go to next week's show, plug that stuff. We'll talk a little Sami and some updates on that and what he has said recently. And then Shera too, both in the contract talk and the contract world. Then we'll hit up something that just, I'm going to look at the silver lining of it and say, could have happened, could still happen. But Moose talking nonsense and teasing us, dangling that carrot of talking about Monty Brown and him in a matchup. We'll get to it. And then we'll hit up your comments, of course. Thank you guys for those who comment. I always will read what you say, so make sure you write something, and I will respond. But let's get into Impact on Access TV. Let's start with BTI first. This week was our dude Alan Angels picking up a victory over Laredo Kid with the Angels wings. He first brought that out on the open challenge against Nunzio when we were there for White Plains. And at the time, I was getting overhyped thinking, this is leading us to Angels versus Daniels on episode 1000. We didn't get it, but I think it's more so just him rubbing it in the face of everyone who says he's just, he's just Daniels or whatever. If you watch this on the regular, you know how I feel. Maybe even saw my kind of peaks and valley, the journey. There we go, words. My journey of Alan Angels, and maybe it started for a lot of us with when we heard of the signing. Why? Not necessarily like, why, but just why? Okay. And it's at this point when I'm talking about the X Division title or something like that, I'm saying, why not? The dude has, once again, who are we? But proved ourselves I proved himself, I think, to the audience. I say it every week that I can, that it just, the want, the drive is oozing through the TV. If it's his gear that he keeps upping, if it's his gimmick or his talking or his ring work or his body and look, effort, man. You want people that are putting in effort, and I'll continue to put that over to the people that watch this show. All right, guys. Laredo Kid, love Laredo Kid. I said that before. If they put some money into him, talking gear, talking and time, and entrance, the whole shebang, they can make some money with him, I think. We really haven't had a luchador since, I guess, Tigre Uno. And I don't even know if we capitalize on that too much, because that was kind of one of our peaks and valleys of Impact Wrestling. Full circle, folks. I'll get it together. But anyways, like the matchup, Angels wings, like him using that. Angels using Angels wings. Next is best moonsault ever. Then we'll talk about if there's a matchup down the line. But we're going to go into the main show, and we're going to start with a tag team title defense. We're going Rascals. They're going to, with the Hot Fire Flame, pick up the win over Sami and Swann, which I thought this match delivered on many accounts. One, we mentioned that. Spoiler-free on the show, we will continue to be. But, okay, maybe this is Sami's send-off. Deadass at points during that match, and this is the greatest compliment I could give it, knowing Sami's on the exit, or, we'll see. I believe that they could have won it. There was points in the match where I'm on the edge of my seat thinking they could have for some reason beat the Rascals here. And so in that regards, it delivered. We'll love to see Sami stay. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll break that up so we have some hot topics, if you will. But I love the match. Interested to see what Swann will do solo in the time being, but he's one of those glue guys, man. Put him anywhere and it'll work. But I would love for him, just like I said with Sami, would love for Swann to get something different and something he can bite into and run with, which would be cool development of the character, Couple things that came up with this matchup, and I'm trying to read. Once again, I need to upload these or scan these so you can see my crappy notes. It's literally the match and then some random words when I'm watching the show in the treehouse. And this one just says Wentz Dirty Cam, and look, I'm just saying. Sometimes when Wentz looks in the camera, as he does, you question your life decisions. You just feel dirty. Just feel dirty sometimes. And I mean that with all due... Is that a compliment? I don't know. But funny nonetheless that I wrote it down. So Wentz looking into the camera. And the other thing, I'm guessing this is what I mean, is that those in-house gear we talk about, guys, they got a pair. And it's that bright-ass green stuff. And the comment I have here is Muppet Treasure Island. Because one, I'm a mark for the Muppets. If you guys know that, you rock with me, I love my Muppets. But there was always, in the Muppet Treasure Island one, with Tim Curry when he had the peg leg, and they showed behind-the-scenes footage, and they put the green screen leg on him. So, anyways, nerd. That's what they look like. I think Muppet Treasure Island. Anyways. I digress. The Rascals are going to Bound for Glory. They're going to face... they're going to face ABC, which is going to be a banger. BFG, ABC, BFG, Rascals, going to be banger. The whole card is looking stacked. We'll get to a Monsters Ball edition in just a second. But let's move on. We're moving on to backstage to Kenny and Sheldon. Kenny's talking nonsense. We got to clip these together at this point. But he's back there talking nonsense about Honor No More, which I thought was a nice little... I love continuity. Just little plugs and little, things. Maybe it's a wink at him going to Ring of Honor. Who knows? But he's talking about his DMC rematch, which he is owed. And this is going to set up him versus Heath this coming week. Kind of, Heath's been in his story throughout. They kind of highlighted that. So we're going to get that match with two guys who honestly, after Bound for Glory, I don't know contract-wise, but I could see both being in or out. I'm not sure. 50-50 on both. Would love both to stay, but just something I wanted to mention. I have something else here. Beans and sardines, man. He's going to have Heath's kids eating beans and sardines. Good shit. That's good shit. All right. We're going to go back to Gia, and she's with KiLynn King. And this is one of the great moments, moments for me, because you guys know I love the Coven. But she's talking about Jody Threat taking out Taylor Wilde with the tire iron. Santino's going to come in and say, hey, how did you know that? That's a bad impression. So he's going to come in. She's going to admit that she is the one that attacked Taylor Wilde. Two reasons. Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'm not going to pinpoint them because I'm not going to hit all the points. There's a lot of notes that this hits. Obviously, this sets up Jody Threat and KiLynn King next week, I believe, on BTI. Yep. Which is a rematch after the episode 1000 shenanigans with the foot on the rope. So I like this. Keep some continuity on BTI as well. And now moving KiLynn into just the singles role, which we've said look, walks, talks, looks the part, man, and is going to be a knockouts champion into 2024. I feel that way. But who am I? I'm the guy who loves the Muppets, man. But yeah, so you got that going, which is a plus. Two things it makes me think of, though, I'm going to say two regardless, and there's probably going to be three or maybe one. Is Taylor Wilde, does that mean she's out for longer? I know there's a little injury, or maybe it's a big injury. It sucks, man, because she's doing some really great work together. They were. So is this a reason to bring her back in and give her something to bite into, or is it a reason for her to be out longer? We don't know, or at least I don't, obviously. And then also, the Coven breaks up, man. So the Knockouts tags kind of going in the direction of two superstars in Deonna and Tasha against MK Ultra. So we're losing a tag team. Is that the direction we go? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But you get what I'm saying? We're losing a tag team here, and I think I was just kind of trying to mush it together about Sami and Rich leaving as well. So the tag team divisions that we thought were stable, that we were proud of the depth, are kind of taking a hit. And that's where my brain is, or trying to say it is. But either way, KiLynn King's going solo. Coven broken up. Taylor Wilde maybe out longer. We'll see. EY and Jordan and Champagne Singh, Dango and Jake. This is for the number 1. The person that gets the pin gets the number 20 spot. The person that takes the pin gets the 1 for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Very excited about the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. We'll save that because I believe that's in the comments. We'll talk about that. But some shenanigans here that we'll talk about. A lot of things that we got to hit here, and I don't want to, just like the last couple ones, I don't want to jump around too much. So I'm going to try to go in order here. I like the match. I like how they did the in and out, kept it simple, told a story. The stuff with Champagne Singh and Dango and Jordan was nicely told. Champagne giving a shout out to his boy Rohit with the equality moves in that match, man. And then taking a little for himself and getting over on Dango. I enjoyed that for him, man. Also enjoyed, I was saying before this episode aired, I was like, I need more Dango, man. Haven't got Dango in a while, at least on a bigger moment. And tonight we get it. We'll talk about that in a second, because he's going to pick up the win over Jake something. So Jake going to be number 1. I like that for Jake. In a point right now where he doesn't really have, besides what Dango, a solid what he's doing. I like this because win, lose, or draw, he's going to be in for a while. Not usually that number 1 spot is there to tell a story. The person lasts a little bit longer in most cases. And that being Jake this year, I think they could do something really good without giving him a whodunit or a championship match right away, or, busting the proverbial lobe and giving him a belt, So I like this for Jake. I also like it for Dango because there's some shenanigans. There's more Dango. Obviously, we're getting that on top of his what is that move? The butterfly? Is that what he's doing? And roundhouse kicks. But we're adding to the group with... I'm making sure I hit everything. Yeah. All right. We're adding to the group with Kozlov, or formerly known as Kozlov, popping in here, joining it. I thought for a second that Alpha Bravo looked like he was on the outs, and then... Kozlov was coming in. But either way, they all raised their hand at the end. It looks like Dango's getting a whole entourage of his own. If you guys rock with me, originally how I felt about Alpha Bravo being a part of that, of Dango sharing a spotlight. And I think it's worked out. I'm not against it whatsoever. I still think he could go with Jake something and be that Judge Jeff Jones kind of thing, as I keep talking about, for Jake something. But with Kozlov coming in here, he is someone that, much like the relationship with Dango and Alpha Bravo, where I maybe jumped to, initial reaction, should have waited to see how it played out. The same I want to do with Kozlov, because I kind of did that with Santino as well. And I'm trying to put them together because obviously Santino and Kozlov have a history. I was not a fan of the E, or was not watching the E, when they were at their heights. So what I know is through pictures and clips. I don't know the dude's work. I thought he looked convincing when he came in. I dug the look of him, man. I don't know why I broke there. I really do. Tug the look of him. Intimidating. How does he fit? What does he add? Is he one of the people that we're spending our money on as we lose really talented people like Sami? Let me see. I'm going to wait before I jump. The reveal was what it was. I don't know if anyone in the crowd really got it. I don't know about you guys at home, how you guys felt about it, how the people in the numbers cared about it. YouTube, last I looked, 114,000 for the clip of his debut. So you can't argue with that. That's well over, quadruple or triple some of the videos. So we'll see, man. I'll wait and see, but just like I was saying, it's a matter of, are we taking away from Dango too much? Is he spreading that spotlight thin to people who don't add to the presentation? We'll see. The verdict is out, and I continue, or I attempt to. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing, or if you feel bad for what's going on right now. All right. Crazy Steve is singing backstage. Love this presentation of Crazy Steve. Love the whole Joker aspect. Love that he's wearing the face paint shirt because we just got a shirt, or face paint, period, because we just got a shirt with his face paint. I digress. He's talking about Tommy, but in the meantime, he's going to have a no DQ match coming up with Black Taurus, where he writes him off for forever, it kind of felt like, which just makes me kind of nervous because I love the work of Black Taurus. But I know the roster is going to be changing a little bit here. With that being said, I got an update. It wasn't a fork from Tommy's private collection. Still stupid. I love Tommy. But I think there's a comment on this too. It's this, I think it's time to move that DMC to someone. And if that's Crazy Steve and then Kenny King's involved in that, or, Jake something, as we spoke about, I don't know if he calls your shot on that, but I want to move this belt to a different place. If it's not, these people that want to be that next step, I think we really can make this, and this is our first chance at making an Intercontinental title. I know you guys will say the X is that. I just don't. I think there's two ways to make it to the top, and this could be one of them. And this would be perfect for people who can put in the work rate, the Kazarians, the Edwards, the Kings, the Crazy Steves, the Jake Somethings, as they stay hot before they jump up or where they're needed. I don't know. I could go on about that for an hour or two or three, but let's move on. We're getting Steve and Tommy for the DMC at the fallout of Bound for Glory. This is a good time to mention all new Power Hour, 11 p.m. on Access TV. Make sure you watch Power Hour on Access TV. Thanks, Tom, for that. Gia's backstage with Mike and Bailey, and he needs some momentum, is what he's saying here, and he needs no distraction from Gresham. He's focused on Ospreay for Bound for Glory, and rightfully so. Another banger. What a damn card, man. What a card. Should have plugged that. BFG, anyways. Next up is Tasha versus Courtney Rush. Tasha picking up the win here after a cutter. Love the storytelling by Tom and Matt. We joked about it, and I might have joked about it in here. I really don't know what I've said already. Vessel. But there's always that, and maybe there isn't. You probably can go, so you guys can look at the history on Wikipedia or something, Bound for Glory, and say, well, there's not the history of two people just being put together, but there's a history in general of TNA doing things where they put people together in tag teams just to get them on a card. And I use that analogy, or whatever you want to call it, to say that this was our Bound for Glory. Hey, we need to get you on the card tag team of the year, and Tasha and Deonna, right? They could have left it as that. They could have just said, oh, they're, two people who are both former Knockouts champions. Both should be taken seriously. Both, oh no, Tasha not, but tag team champions, at least in Deonna's case, with Vexed. So they could just, that's what we're doing. But for Tom and Matt to add that layer of the history of them and that they are viable and they should be taken seriously, it's just that little something extra that really makes it more viable and makes people like me look stupid. So kudos to them. It's not hard to make me look stupid, but kudos for the storytelling there. I really dug that. I was going to say I dig MK Ultra, but I think I was just talking about, we have a comment on that, so we'll save all that. But they're going to be facing each other. The only other thing I have for this is Deonna. You know, I don't know. Just she was ringside, and that was nice. And we move on. Jesus, man. Adios mio, man. Yeah, but you know, there's a Josh vignette. I like this a lot. Edit. Josh vignette. New Japan. A clip of the 3-on-3 match there. I really enjoyed this, and I'll tell you guys for a few reasons once I can get my brain together. But there was a little stink. I saw a little bit about that, about the outcome of this match on Twitter, which, okay. I understand. I get it. Our world champion is getting pinned in this matchup. To put it all together for those who rely on me for your breaking down of the news here, it was the 3-on-3 match with Okada, Tanahashi, and I know I'm going to miss the third one, against the Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander. Alex Shelley is going to pick up the pinfall. Tanahashi is going to pick it up over and getting the 1-2-3 on Shelley after some nonsense with some miscommunication with Josh hitting Shelley and da-da-da-da. Like the clips they played. Look, if you just take it off the spoilers, I get how you could be upset by this, but I thought that this told a good story. I thought it gave the win back for Tanahashi where Shelley just picked up, so I think that's doing good business. I like it for that. I like there's miscommunication between Josh and Shelley, and I like I don't know who that was. Was it Kevin Kelly who still does it? Who mentioned would the victory even had happened had there was no Josh and miscommunication. So I thought it hit all the notes that it needed to. It needed to happen. Obviously, the match. It's good to do business that way. We know others who don't, so I like seeing that. Keep that relationship strong. And then also tell our story and advance it, which, I mean, it doesn't make Shelley look weak. There's miscommunication. It's Tanahashi. They're in Japan under the New Japan banner. So I'm good on this. I like that they played it, and I like the clips and the sound clips they chose. Yeah. It's going to be a long one, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Let's keep going. Next up, Maclin and Bully. We're going to talk about Soft again. Bully's going to walk off, but talking about Bully being soft still. We'll see where this leads. Obviously, it kind of, we know Monster's Ball is coming. So is that kind of I'm soft, let's see what happens, even though he's not in it. But PCO's in it. Moose. Maclin's in it. Who am I missing? Oh, and Rhino. So that kind of, that program or that guys, that the whole the whole promo in the ring, I don't know, I'm losing it. The whole promo in the ring, where it was all of them talking about all these different things, and we kind of talked about, this was convoluted and yada yada yada. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Hey, make sure you hit like and help this out. But we get that Monsters Ball, so that's what comes out of that segment last week. We get Bully talking about being, am I soft? Say it to my face kind of thing, and Maclin does, and he obliges. So I'm just saying, is the writing on the wall? Is that part of this? We'll see. Next up is Frankie defeating Eddie in a killer 2 out of 3 match. And I joked the naming, the title of this before, but I liked it, and it's one of those little extra things. I don't know how you guys feel about it. with it. You know, I joked about it being Vince Russo booking, but it's not, man. It's more like Corgan booking. Didn't it feel like the Grand Championship, kind of? I don't know. I kind of dug this. As far as the thing in the corner and the rounds and, you know, the falls meaning something and being something different. I really enjoyed it. And, you know, my biggest compliment I can make, when these guys came out, video game characters, action figures, it felt like a big time, you know, kind of feud. I don't know. I felt like we just talked about it, so maybe I'm pandering to that. But I just thought that this was a really good match on all accounts. Liked the levels of it, liked the gimmick of it. And to me, it was a banger. It was a banger. How did you guys feel about it? I looked up a result, a review, whatever, one of these websites, I don't know, just to see kind of where the ticker was with it. And as when it comes to rating the whole show, we're on the same page for that. To jump ahead, 7.5 for me. I think a 7.5 is a little higher, 7.67. We'll do that. It is a good rating there. I thought it was a good match. Continue the road to Bound for Glory. They ended off on a really strong note. Book ended by 2 main events, I'd say. And but the temperament of people when it comes to these kind of matches, I didn't know that was a thing. I liked them all. I didn't think the hardcore was too much. I thought the hardcore that was used hit. I thought it told a story. I thought each level of this thing told a story. How did you guys feel? I want to know, because that just kind of I don't know if I'm wording it right, of course, but it sometimes you're in your own world so much of what you enjoy and how you feel about it. You never see too much, if you're off the grid, as I am most of the time, how other people feel about certain things. So is this your guys' kind of match? Did you like it? Did you like the hardcore aspect mixed with the submission, mixed with the wrestling, and how it played out? I thought it was a really nice match. Liked Eddie tapping out quick in the storytelling there. I thought it was good. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm still talking in circles, but I want to make sure I hit everything and give it its props. But a 7.67 is where we're going. How do you guys feel about it? By the way, Flicker Treat, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Access TV. Speaking of TV, because I'll mention it, you guys know me. Look, the Nielsen ratings, they wouldn't matter unless you put the name Leslie in front of them. I don't really care. Leslie Nielsen, OJ for the win. But I just don't care. I like what I like, and maybe that's part of it, you know? Do you guys like it? And that's kind of all that matters to me as well. But this was under 100,000, and people cared about it. I always say the same thing. This just means 9 people in, you know, Poughkeepsie turned it off this week. It's 44,000 households. That's all. 44,000 households that represent 350 million people in the United States. Opinions on things, and I think we're all very individual people. I don't think the person I live next door likes the same thing as I do, or vice versa. I think we all have our different tastes, so could kiss my ass. Like I said, unless you put Leslie in front of it. Leslie Nielsen. So stupid. All right, guys, let's continue this. Speaking of stupid, that's actually not a really great, not a really good segue at all. I got nothing on it. Yeah, actually, I can turn this into a positive. Speaking of stupid, the unsigned Sami Callihan should be signed by Impact, right? Speaking out there, talking about a few cool things that I want to make a mention of. One, talking about how he sees Maclin as a Stone Cold. I always talk about that, man. Maclin is the ringmaster right before Stone Cold. I think once they turn that anti-hero thing on, man, which I think could have happened with Josh and his feud, and I think it still happened. A lot of fingers. Feeling the vibes, guys. Feeling the vibes. Or just trying to stay on track. I don't know. But I love his opinion of Maclin being the Stone Cold for Impact Wrestling. He's also mentioned that he is one of the hands that rebuilt Impact Wrestling, and I firmly agree. I said that before. I thought that's one of the reasons that it's just weird that he's not signed. Do I want him to be happy? Do I want him to make money? Do I want him to do whatever he wants to do? Yes, of course. That's not the point. Of course I want him here. It's stupid that he's not here. But that's the point. He was here when it wasn't cool to be here. It's called Space Spade. He crossed that line before a lot of other people would even think to. So, you know, I think he brings a lot to the table. My opinion, what is that, right? But if I'm Impact, I would, make it happen. The shame of the week, though, goes to ringsidenews.com, who had to put up Sami Callihan departs Impact, or whatever, however they worded it, over money issues. Knowing the history of TNA and stuff, it just felt like, what clickbait, man? Because yes, he wants X money. They're not giving him X money. But to name it money issues, shame. Shame on Ringside News. And shame, we're going to jump really quick because I'm just going to take the organic transition, natural transition. Shame on Moose for dangling that carrot. Speaking of that, in 2020, that No Place Like Home show, the WrestleMania one, man. Supposed to have Anderson back and Aces and Eights with D'Lo Brown. I think Amazing Red was signed on at Petey. Such good hype. And, of course, pandemic happens. But Moose tells I don't even know who he told. But I should have looked that up. But I'm sure it's honest. He said that at that show, they were in talks to have Moose versus that alpha male Monty Brown. Which, what a announced or surprise. What a damn moment that would have been, man. And I just thought, if you didn't read it yourself, that I should let you share in my misery. Moose versus Monty Brown could have happened. Damn you, Corona. So here's to hoping, man. Here's to hoping. Those other things were from the Sami interview was from Cultaholic. Side note, shout out to Tom Campbell with the love there. I don't get on the Twitter machine, as I mentioned, if you're watching this mess, that often. So when I saw a bunch of people retweet or share, DM me his kind words, I knew it must have been important. So really cool, man. I didn't know the level of work and greatness of Cultaholic, and so that's awesome, man. Congratulations to him and all the success. He was just on Food Fight. I watched it all the way through. Great watch with him and Joe Hendry. And they're eating something that looks like it's off eBay or Amazon Prime. I don't know. It's like wrapped in bubble wrap, but I'm sure it's good. But it was a really fun show and some really similar ways of thinking. And for him, in a world where it's the easiest to go shit on things or say the negative, for him to stop and say, hey, great this, great that, and be a man of his word is awesome. So thank you. And we move on. All right. So we move on to Shera on a handshake deal. Shera talking about how he was approached by AEW 2 years ago, that he's on a handshake deal and that he loves Impact, but hey, if opportunity, he's hungry for an opportunity. I love Shera, man. He's kind of really a homegrown talent, right? I mean, he's been a journeyman in certain aspects, but we'll see. We'll see where that ends up. I think it kind of speaks to a bigger picture of where we'll be, with the roster changes. We'll see. I mean, we just talked about Sami, but there's a bunch of things that can happen, or some people we mentioned earlier that, we'll see. But next week, I want to make sure I mention this. Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus. We got Bailey versus Samurai Del Sol. Bailey made an open invitation. By the way, I missed that in the cluster that was earlier. Moose and Myers versus PCO and Rhino. King versus Heath. And then on BTI, King versus Threat. Again, if I don't know if I said this, I probably didn't. But Bound for Glory looking awesome. I know I said that. But Bound for Glory, a sellout. Sell out with me, my friends. Bound for Glory in Chicago is a sellout, which is awesome, man. Congratulations for that Impact Wrestling. All right, let's get to your guys' comments. It's already on the 30-minute mark. I probably could edit this to fix all the nonsense, but we're going to let it go raw, man. I hope you guys enjoy this stupidity. All right, let's get to your guys' comments. Starting off with Sky'sBlur23. Myron Reed is a fantastic wrestler, and if booked correctly, could easily be a main event type talent. It'd be cool to see him do a springboard 450. Haven't seen that Impact since AJ. Yes, I'm a mark for the 450, the springboard 450. And a mark for that comment. Thank you, Sky'sBlur, because I love anything that mentions AJ, of course. And then Myron Reed, yeah, very excited to see what he can do. I've seen clips, I've seen a match or two. I like that how he fits in, obviously with the Rascals and the camaraderie there. Excited to see what he can do with my own two eyes on a regular basis, but that is some high praise. High praise. All right. Next up, Demon Better 99. What's up? Tommy's segment was embarrassing, just pure cringe. Kenny should have never lost the DMC. There's ways of looking at that. Yes, I want Kenny still to be in that picture. I thought the moment of Tommy winning was good and healthy for the product and that presentation of Victory Road. I was there and I don't remember. Anywho, but I get what you're saying. I already mentioned that. It's time to move on, right? This camera is fucking up. Goosebumps. I think Kelly Masha should not lose the Knockouts tag titles, even though it'd be cool. Kelly and Masha are doing great and should be the longest reigning Knockouts tag team champions. I would love that. Let's race the EY championship reign. But, I skipped over the part with Deonna. Deonna being, you would like Deonna to be a tag champ. She was with Vexed, yeah, but it would be cool. I wouldn't mind Tasha and Deonna at all winning, but I would like the chemistry in the Kelly and Masha team, especially after losing the Coven, to stick around for a long time. And if we've said this before, if they're two people who should be in the Knockouts world title picture, but the world title picture right now only fits Trinity and opponent, do you really want them jobbing all the... No, I don't mean jobbing, but losing all the time in efforts to win that title? No. Eventually they would win it, sure, but could right now they really hold down the fort with the tag team titles, which Demon Better here is mentioning, and then go for somewhere with that, right? Have a blood feud later, and then go from there. So if you have no other plans, and I mean strap automatically right after this, let's keep them together. Let's keep them rocking. I agree with you there. Thank you for your comment. And last but not least, our buddy Millard, Parkside 15. Another great reaction show, like always, Geoff. Thank you. Sorry, you guys can obviously understand I'm not good with compliments, but I appreciate you nonetheless. The BFG card looks amazing. And I think we're going to get a few surprises for BFG in the TV tapings. Who do you think might show up? I wouldn't be surprised if CM Punk made some sort of an appearance. I feel that. Same time with WWE coming out, are they smoke screening? Let's see. But I just think the 2-month comment was us. To be honest, I don't know. And I am not a real big jumper anymore. But it just feels like it makes sense. We know Myron Reed will be at the tapings. The 20-person gauntlet will be a great way to add a few names. Maybe Richard Holiday, Sonny Kiss, Matt Cardona, JTD, and Steph DeLander, etc. Familiar with Cardona and DeLander and JTG. Not so much the others. I've seen some clips of the others. I wouldn't say... I don't know. Maybe with an Impact charm they'll go up. I don't know. But as far as Cardona, always a welcome hand here, man. JTG's awesome. And Steph DeLander, I think, is really coming to her own, man. Really liked what she did when she came in for that little run. Would like to see what she can do from here on out. P.S. It's too early to add released WWE wrestlers, just 90 days. I don't know about NXT released wrestlers. I also think that Subculture will sign with Impact on the UK tour. Yeah, that'll be a cool moment. We were kind of wondering why they would get him in the first place, just to defend him over there, to lose him. I think it was good presser for them to do that. I just thought they'd keep it until then, but a lot of moving parts, and you want the titles on TV all the time. You got to work out visas. Maybe that's the deal. I don't know. But I'm not going to complain about them being here on the regular, and they are still on the roster page. That is one thing I wanted to mention as well, and it doesn't mean it's the nail in the coffin, but Sammy's picture off the roster page as well. Kozlov's on there, but Jordan's also wasn't on there, and she pretty much was signed the day she left, allegedly. So, hey, there's hope for us Sammy fans. All right, guys. Thanks for rocking me if you did. Sorry about the jumble mess. It's been a long weekend and a lot going on, which I hope I can update you guys on soon. Keep watching everything on this channel. Hit like and subscribe. Look for LOL TNAIW. It's going to be a fun time. Thank you for coming out, guys. God bless and good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.